as we go, we're going to be delivering flame-trained coffins. And we're going to show the human cost of this war. Good afternoon. It's a beautiful day. When the bomb started falling on Baghdad 7 years ago today, some of us who had some idea of how these things go said this is not going to be quick, and we're probably going to still be in Iraq 10 years from now. Well, that was opposed to what a few of the liars in high places said about how fast and easy this was going to be, and their lies were echoed in the right-wing media machine. But today, we're still in Iraq, we're still in Afghanistan, we're starting the 8th year in Iraq. In 2 years, we will probably still be there. In 3 years, we will probably still be there. A decade from now, we will probably still be there, and you can bet we will, unless enough of us throw out enough people out of Congress who keep voting money, unless enough of us find the courage to sit down and gum up business as usual, and unless enough soldiers refuse to fight in these illegal and immoral wars, and Veterans for Peace is done being a good soldier. There is an enormous cost to this war, we know that. I want to use just one example. I come from a small town, Toledo, Ohio, 300,000. Our citizens, since the invasion of Afghanistan, have sent to these wars $750 million of tax money just to these wars. Last week, the mayor tells us they're laying off 20% of our police officers. Firefighters are next. Our city parks are going to be closed and the swimming pools this summer. The list goes on in every city across this country. The other cost, of course, is the cost in human suffering. I worked as a hospital corpsman for 3 years during the Vietnam War, and I worked in a Navy hospital and tried to put young men back together when they returned from Vietnam and Cambodia. And I can tell you one thing, that anybody in this town, before they vote one more nickel for war or order one more troop into war, ought to have to work for a couple of months in the backwards of a VA hospital and find out what it's like to take care of men and women who can no longer get up to go to the bathroom, have to learn how to put catheters in themselves, and all of the costs associated with that.
The last time I was here on March 19th, we were freezing our asses off. So it's wonderful to see you all too. Is the honeymoon over with that war criminal over in the White House? He became a war criminal when he was in the Senate, voting for funding these illegal wars. He became a criminal against our Constitution, voting to extend the Patriot Act, voting for the FISA Modernization Act.
our democracy. At votersforpeace.us, you can take a pledge to say, I will only vote for anti-war candidates. That's the way to end empire. Demonstrate, vote, be active, say no to empire. Thank you all.
Next, I want to bring up a real force in the movement for peace and social justice around this country.
Please give a thunderous welcome to Ramsey Clark.
Hey, we've got our work cut out for us. A long way to go. We have to start with today, the 7th anniversary of the war of aggression against Iraq. And those who are responsible for it have to be held accountable here by the people of the United States. We can't look to The Hague or some other organization to do it. This is our responsibility. We let it happen. We participated in its happening. And now it has to be paid for. You know, we've been in wars. I joined the Marines at age 17, right at the end of World War II, and we've been in wars more than half the years, I mean active wars, ever since. And we've been in inactive wars all over the planet ever since. And we've been spending more money on militarism than the rest of the world combined. And until we stop that, our country is a menace to life on the planet. Until we cut our military budget, declared today the untouchable part, you know. Everything else can go. The children can be out of school, they're sick and die, but we cannot touch the military budget because our war machine and our military-industrial complex and the rich of the nation depend on it. We've got to cut our military budget by more than 50% right away within 5-10 years. We've got to work at it. It's the only road to peace on earth. And then we've got to go down to 75% shortly after that and 10% left. And we'll be safer than we've ever been before. And we won't be a menace anymore. And we can make friends instead of enemies on the planet. So let's get up, roll up our sleeves, and not rest until we do it. Thank you.
Bring the office up with the office in their room. Okay, let's hold up here.